always made coconut cream part of the Primal diet because it's extremely detoxifying, especially for heavy metals, which you could have received from, for example, injections which you received against your will. And let me give you a good example which agonists like to mention. If you take some can made from like stainless steel, or not steel, but stainless metal, and you put some coconut cream over it, raw coconut cream, then it will pull out metals out of the metal and it will make it rust away even if it's stainless. That's how detoxifying coconut cream is. It pulls metals and it's a solvent and it's just very cleansing. It's very, very cleansing. There's a reason why we used to make soaps from coconuts all the time before chemicals came along. If you consume coconut cream in small amounts every single day, let's say, or very often, regularly, together with, let's say, fruit meals and then sports drink, because coconut cream is like a solvent. It dissolves metals, it pulls metals out of you. It's a cleanser. Then fruit, when you eat fruit, the sugars turn into alcohol, it turns acidic, it's also sort of a solvent, and it will cleanse you in some sense. And then there are other formulas from Agenus, like for example the sports drink, which is supposed to be consumed during your fruit meal, together with fruit. And sports drink is consumed with like apple cider vinegar, lime juice, lemon juice, and other acidic stuff, which also works like a solvent, which dissolves and neutralizes chemicals and metals inside of you. You are supposed to consume coconut cream like once a day together with your fruit meal, ideally with the sports drink. And if you do this, if you consume coconut cream regularly, coconut cream, which makes stainless metal stuff, still rust away, because it's a solvent which is potent like that. If you consume it for a long time, regularly, it will make your body cleaner than if you do not consume it. There might be some other reasons to consume coconut cream, like you don't fully digest all of the cream and the fat because it's plant fat and it lubricates you instead of nourishing you, but that's insignificant. The 80-20 rule, the most important reason why will you consume coconut cream, is because it cleanses you. And if you eat something as cleansing as coconut cream together with your fruit meals regularly for years, the cleansing will add up and you will be cleaner and healthier afterwards. Now, you don't want to overconsume it. You want to consume like few tablespoons a day at most. If you consume a lot, then one day you will wake up with coconut cream oozing through your eyes and you being crazy because all of the solvent activity and the metals being pulled out. You just don't want to overconsume it. But in small amounts, it's fine. Let's say coconuts are tropical and you don't live in a tropical environment, which means coconuts are full of like deuterium and of the light information of like tropical environments, and you are not living in the tropics. Is it still worth it? Honestly, in summer it is. If it's hot as fuck, if it's sunny, then even though it is not as warm and there is not as high UV index as there was in the land when the coconut grew, and there might be some circadian mismatch, I think the cleansing properties of the coconut are worth it. To consume coconut cream, not daily, but like every other day or something like that, in the middle of the summer, or if you live in Florida or Italy or whatever. I will not actually consume coconut cream, even though it's cleansing and whatever, in middle of the winter. Because I don't care about deuterium being higher in tropical fruit than you are able to handle in like Europe. If it's the summer and it's hot and I'm tan and whatever. But if it's middle of the winter and I have UV index, if there is UV index 8 in Europe and I'm eating something which grew up in UV index 10, I'm fine. If it's UV index 1 in Europe and I'm eating something which is growing in UV index 10, then I think that might be too much. I know that I'm not going to do that. But in summer I absolutely don't care. And now I'm going to show you how to make coconut cream. But there's a caveat. I have a shit juicer and I figured out in middle of the tutorial that it cannot make coconut cream. I followed instructions perfectly. Everything which I did you are supposed to do to make coconut cream. But you need like a non-masticating Green Star high quality juicer. I have some shit quality juicer which is good for getting water out of like celery, but not for getting cream out of coconut meat. Because what happened to me is I only got like out the coconut oil. I got out bunch of coconut oil and from 6 coconuts I got like few ounces of coconut oil. So you should look up that you have a good juice. You need a juicer to do this, and juicer, a blender, or a food processor. And yeah, but you need a Green Star juicer or some similar juicer like that. You cannot use like the shit juicer I had. But the tutorial which I made still stands. You might find some older tutorial or something, but if you follow my instructions, if you have a good juicer, it will work. But if you have a shit juicer, if you don't have a Green Star or similar non-masticating juicer, or how it's called, you shouldn't do coconut cream, because then you won't do any. You might buy some yourself, and yeah, you might buy it or get a good juicer or don't do it. But here is how you do coconut cream. So we are going to be needing some coconuts, some containers to fill with the coconut meat, some container for the coconut water. And if you are too lazy to collect the coconut water, because, I don't know, it's too hard for you, then listen to me. This weather, this amount of sweat, bunch of coconut water straight from the freezer, you drink it, it's worth the unnecessary logistics to collect the water. It's worth it. This from the freezer in this weather. It's so goddamn worth it. Now, how I do it. Now, this is not going to apply to everyone. If you live in like a flat and you do not own a machete or a fucking axe or a hammer. Honestly, if I lived in the flat, I will do it in a bathtub with a hammer. Unironically. That's something what I will do. Or I will just go outside and I will do it outside. But since I live in the countryside like a human and not in a flat like a buck, even though if you live in a flat, you can just do it outside. The easiest way to collect coconut water and to open them is to use the coconut against the ground. You don't even need an axe. You need a jar with a wide mouth, and you need to smash the coconut against the ground aggressively. Not too much so it breaks a lot, but not too little so the hole is too small. So you do it like this. It cracked a little, and I will do it again. And afterwards, the water will be flowing away from it. Now, this was kind of too little, but it's already dripping. So you put it over it, and then you take a knife or something with a lever, and you slide it inside, and you open it. I lost some water, but yeah, you crack it. When the water starts dripping, you put it over it and you open it with something like a lever. A knife, or maybe you can use an axe. Afterwards, you should have something like 2 halves of a coconut. And to collect the meat, you take a hammer, ideally a hammer or an axe, and you want to break these halves into quarters. So you have 1 coconut put in like 4 parts, like this, pretty much. Everyone has a hammer, you can do it with a hammer. Now, sometimes, if it's cold, the meat will stick to the shell. And in order to get the meat out of the shell, you have to slide it inside a bit. Don't cut yourself, you just slide it inside and you don't have the hand in there. And after you are inside, you do like this motion. You basically use the knife like a lever to slide it away from the coconut meat. This is what happens when it's too cold. It sticks to it and you need to like put the knife there and like do like this, like a screwdriver, so you get it out. But if it's too warm, usually what happens is that you just smash it and the coconut meat will just get away from the shell. Pretty much. Because, I don't know, if it's warm, similarly to where coconuts grow, it will just be easier time working with it. So that's probably another hint that you shouldn't be doing this. Not necessarily outside of the tropics, but in winter. Now, this is an extremely important point. And the only reason why I'm making this tutorial, instead of letting you watch the Resident Raw tutorial, which was pretty good, is this point. Because Resident Raw absolutely did not mention this. Edgeless actually talked about this, and it's a crucial point. If it's too cold, and you put your coconuts, even if you blend them or whatever, if you put the coconut meat, even blended, into juicer, if it's too cold, then almost no cream will come out, and if any will come out, way less than it's supposed to. Because when it's cold, the cream just doesn't separate from the meat very efficiently. It needs to be warm. So either you live in the tropics, or in Europe in summer 2026, when it's too fucking hot, when it's like, I don't know, I just will talk about some specific temperatures, like 27 degrees or more, or if you don't live somewhere where it's too hot, you either put them into a glass jar like this, and you put them somewhere where it's very sunny. Because of the greenhouse effect, the heat will come to the glass and it will not leave. And after like an hour in a hot sun, you will feel that the coconuts are just too warm. If I take this, it's too fucking warm. It's warmer than my body temperature, and that's what you want. If it's not too warm, you just need to warm it up in the sun. You want them to get warm. And if there is no sunlight to get them warm, and you still want to get coconut cream for some reason, then you can submerge these coconuts in like scalding hot water. Not so hot that you pasteurize them or something, but if it's just warm enough to not burn you, then it will not warm these coconuts enough. Either you put them in the sun, or you put them in the hot water, in order to warm them up. Then, I will show you the next steps. You will need to blend them in a food processor or a good blender. And afterwards, after you finish blending these coconuts, and you have these blended coconuts, and they become cold, or room temperature, you want to put them back in the glass, and you want to warm them up in the sunlight again, or in the warm water. The moment these things go into the juicer, they need to be warm. Resident Ro didn't think about this because he lives in Florida, where it's too warm all the time. But if you are white with blue eyes and live in an environment like I do, then you need to think about this. They need to be warm, otherwise you will get almost no coconut cream out of the meat, and you will be fucking yourself over. You will have spent all of your time opening these coconuts to get like 1/3 of the cream you were supposed to, when you could have like 3 times as much, just by keeping them outside or submerging them in hot water. When these things go to the juicer, it has to be warm. Okay, so you can either use a food processor or a blender. Blender is fine, honestly. And you want to cut it or crush it into smaller pieces. So you take the coconut pieces, ideally warm, so they are easier for the blender to work through. You cut them into smaller pieces that the blender can handle, or ideally a food processor which is stronger, then it's better. But if you don't have one, blender does fine. You fill it just a little bit, because if you fill it too much, the blades can only reach on the bottom. If I put any more in it, it will not crush it all, and there will be like a bunch of big pieces which the blade will not be able to get to. So you blend them, and after you blend them, you get them out of the blender into a huge bowl or a pot, like this. You do it like bit like a short strokes, not like, but like. I remember a funny line when Agnes talked about blenders having the highest amounts of EMFs, and someone saying that he controls his own blender with a keyboard, and everyone fucking laughed. So, if I lived in the tropics and it was warm, if it was like 27 degrees or something, I will just start juicing. But because it's not warm enough, and I will not get the most of the coconut cream out of the meat, I will put it in a glass, and I will put it in the sunlight again, so it gets warm, so I get most of the cream outside. And this looks like a long, tedious process, but realistically, you spend like 3 hours a day scrolling on Instagram, and I spend like 3 minutes placing this coconut meat into the jar. So don't be fucking lazy. If you doing this for 3 minutes to get into the jar gets you like 2 times as much coconut cream than if you didn't do this. So I'm going to put it into the jar, and then I'm going to put it back into the sunlight. And when it gets warm, then I start juicing. Like this. It's very fucking hot. This thing is fucking hot. This will be warm in like, honestly, like 6-7 minutes. Yeah, I will stop, fuck you. Okay, so now we are going to be juicing it's warm now. If you put your hand in here, It's warmer than my body temperature. And that's maybe excessive, but it's better than if it's too warm than if it's not warm enough. And instead of like, I will show you how most people juice like stuff. They like turn it off, and they start putting stuff into it as it is like. No. The way you juice stuff, you fill the juice. Shut up. Is it like closed enough? I don't think so. The way you juice stuff is you put stuff in it, you fill it to the brim, and then you put this there, and you turn it on, and then you like go, and then when it's empty, you turn it off, and you fill it again, and then you go, instead of like filling it when it's running and it's just noisy all the time. Just be smart about it. And yes, this is some shit masticating juicer, and this is plastic, and it's horrible for you and whatever. And it's a skill issue, and that you shouldn't have a juicer like this.
No?
Okay, so it turns out, because I have an absolutely shit juicer, there is very little coconut meat coming out of this. But if you've had a Green Star juicer, this will work wonderfully. I've been just reviewing some edgeless material, and what I found is that you can actually run the pulp through the juicer like 2 or 3 times, and it will keep giving you more juice. So you juice it once, you get some coconut cream, and then you put it in back again, and you can do it like 2 or 3 times to get more juice out of the coconut. And you're actually supposed to, if you have a Green Star juicer or a good juicer, if you have a warm room, run the coconut pulp through the juicer several times in the warm room with a good juicer. You're supposed to actually get a fucking quart, almost a liter of coconut cream out of 3 coconuts. You're supposed to get like 8 ounces out of 1 coconut. So yeah, good juicer, warm temperature, run the pulp through several times, and you get like a fucking almost a liter of a fucking coconut cream from like 3 coconuts. So yeah. Now, I can deal with this issue by taking all of the coconut meat and putting it into a blender and filling the blender with well water, and then blending all of the meat inside of the blender with the water. So the water is supposed to be warm. So the blender releases all of the cream from the meat, and it's then swimming in the water. Then, when you have a bunch of water with the cream swimming in the blender, you take like a cloth, you take your blender full of water and coconut meat, which you are blending together, so it releases the coconut cream into the water. You put it into the cotton cloth, and then you like squeeze it, so all the coconut meat remains in the cloth, and you squeeze it, and you squeeze all the water and cream into some container. Ideally, a glass like this, or the bigger glass, which is like a gallon. Then, if you have this mix of water and coconut cream from blender, which you've like squeezed out of the cloth and you threw away the coconut meat, after a while, it will separate kind of like raw milk and whey, and you will have a bunch of well water on the bottom of the glass, and a bunch of coconut cream swimming on top of the gallon jar, which you can collect with a spoon like cream, and then put it into like these things. And I guarantee I get almost nothing by this shit juicer, but honestly, if you have a Green Star or non-masticating juicer, you will get way more of the cream than if you have this shit juicer. If you don't, then you can take off the meat, put it into a blender, fill it with warm well water or water that you can drink, blend it to release the cream, get into a cloth, strain it out, put it into a container, and then collect the cream which separates from the well water, and then you have a bunch of coconut cream. Last time I did this, I've had like, I don't know, 9-10 coconuts, maybe more, maybe less, and I've got like 2 or maybe 3 Ds full of coconut cream when I collected it with the water and then collected it away from the water. But I'm too lazy to do that because that's like 1 to 2 hours of extra work, and it's honestly not worth to do it. If you are a retard and you follow my guidance and you have a shit juicer and then you have a bunch of meat with cream in it which you cannot get out, then maybe it's worth to do it. But it's not worth to buy coconuts just to do this blender method with your intention from the start, because it's too much work. Well, yeah, you get like, for 10 coconuts, you get like 2, maybe 3 glasses of coconut cream, but it's not worth it. If you have a good juicer, do this, and you have a fuck ton of cream. If you don't, then maybe just fucking avoid it. But remember my advice, whatever you do, if it's warm, you will release the cream better, and you don't want to waste the water. The water is really good, it's easy to collect. You smash the coconut on the ground, put it above some container, and then put a knife and use a lever. That's about it. It was like 6 coconuts. Yes, it was. I wanted to say 6, 7, but it was 6 because the 7th one was fermented. So 6 coconuts, and we've got this. It's nothing, but trust me, it tastes kind of like, it's not even coconut cream. It's like, it didn't get all of the cream out, but the cream it did get out, it's probably not even cream, it's like butter. It's like coconut butter. And it tastes literally like chocolate. And it's sweet as fuck. I kid you not. It's so goddamn good. Like, I don't know why. When I make the coconut cream using the way that I use it, get it into the blender, mix it with water, and then scrape it off the water, it doesn't taste as intense and as good as this. So it might not have been worth it, but it was fun for me to experience how shit it is to not have a Green Star juicer again, and change my priorities and tell me what to buy in the future. But yeah, this actually tastes really fucking good, and what I will do is I will pour it into like these glasses of like, do you know how you drink hard alcohol from these small shots? So I will put it in there, and I will either drink it like hard alcohol, or I will put it into some small bowl, and I will take an unripe pineapple and I will dip it in it, and I will eat the unripe pineapple with this. I kid you not, like, if you take coconut cream, especially if you have a shit juicer, and it cannot get all of the water out, and it gets like the fat out of it, like, unripe pineapple dipped in this substance, that's so fucking good. Trust me. I've tried it before when I fucked up and I thought that I will resolve the issue, but I did not. So, yeah. Fruit dipped in this. Heaven. Now, I've been on the Primal diet for the last 5 years, since I was 16. And if you want more Primal diet advice from me, then you might check out the first link in the description. Eat raw meat, get tan, and grow your hair out.